You know, there's a saying, if your brand doesn't tell a story, it's just noise. We're really going to unpack brand storytelling, why it works so well, how you can actually build your own, and we'll look at some great examples, especially from here in the UAE. I remember working with this tech founder, brilliant guy, amazing product, great price, solid team, but the brand itself, it just felt, well, flat. Invisible almost.
Like something was missing.
Exactly. We were sort of going in circles until I just asked point blank, why did you actually start this company?
The origin question.
Yeah. And he paused, then told me this incredibly personal story about his brother, the challenges he faced, which was the exact problem his tech was designed to solve.
Wow.
And honestly, that one sentence, that story, it gave the whole brand a heartbeat. Suddenly, it wasn't just tech, it was human.
That's the core of it, isn't it?
That's precisely the power we're digging into today on Branding Made Simple. We're really going to unpack brand storytelling, why it works so well, how you can actually build your own, and we'll look at some great examples, especially from here in the UAE.
And it's fascinating because the why it works is so fundamental. Humans, well, we're just wired for stories. Simple as that.
Right. We remember narratives.
Exactly. Way more than, a dry list of features or tech specs. Think about it. You might forget the details of some ad campaign you saw last week.
Definitely.
But you'll probably remember a story that made you feel something. An emotional journey a brand took you on.
That makes sense.
And this is maybe even more potent in a region like the UAE, the wider MENA region, actually. Storytelling isn't new here.
No, it's ancient.
Precisely. Think about poetry, the oral traditions, Mallay's gatherings. For centuries, that's how values, wisdom, emotions, everything got passed down.
So it's culturally ingrained.
Deeply. So for a brand today, telling its story, it's not really about the hard sell. It's about making a real connection.
Building trust, maybe.
Building trust, absolutely, and creating a legacy. It's about showing people what you truly believe in, what drives you, your core.
Okay, so we get why it's important. It makes intuitive sense. But how do people actually, build that story for their brand? Where do you even start?
Well, one really powerful framework, and you see it everywhere, really is a hero's journey.
Like in movies and myths?
Exactly the same structure. And it translates surprisingly well to branding.
Yeah.
Basically, think of it like this. Your brand, or maybe the founder, starts out in a world where there's a specific problem or challenge.
Right.
Then comes a catalyst. Could be a personal frustration, a sudden insight, maybe a big challenge they faced. Something sparks action.
Right, the call to adventure, sort of.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
So they take action. They start building something. They face obstacles. They learn. They overcome. And ultimately, they reach a point where they can help other people who are facing that same original problem.
That makes sense. It's a narrative arc.
It is. And the key thing here is it's not just about showing off successes. It's not a highlight reel. It's about the why. Why does this brand exist? What are its core beliefs? Who is it fundamentally trying to help?
So when you're crafting it, what are the essential bits, the ingredients?
Good question. You definitely need the origin story. What was that initial spark? Was it personal? Then your core values. What are the non-negotiables for your brand? What do you stand for? Crucially, you need the conflict. What were the real honest struggles? People connect with authenticity, not perfection.
That's a big one, showing the bumps in the road.
Absolutely. And finally, the resolution. How are those challenges overcome? And what's the ongoing vision? Where are you headed? Remember, people connect with purpose, with the journey, not some polished, flawless image.
It's interesting to see how this plays out in the real world. Are there some good UAE examples we can look at?
Oh, definitely. Brands here are getting really smart about this. Take Yas Island, for instance. Their Zindagi Ko Yas Bowl campaign was brilliant storytelling.
Yes, with the Bollywood actor.
Exactly. They reunited the cast from Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara, a hugely popular film, and filmed a sort of mini sequel series on Yas Island. It wasn't just look at our cool rides. It was a story about friendship, adventure, living life fully all experienced at Yas Island.
So it tapped into existing emotions and stories.
Precisely. The emotional resonance was huge across the region and even beyond. I mean, the numbers are staggering, something like 1.5 billion views in just over 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah. People weren't just watching an ad. They were engaging with the story they felt part of or wanted to be part of.
And thinking about another huge sector here, real estate.
Yeah.
That feels like an area where storytelling is really starting to shift things too. It's not just about the square footage anymore, is it?
Not at all. You're spot on.
Yeah.
In a market as competitive and fast-paced as the UAE, especially Dubai, just talking location and luxury finishes.
Yeah.
Well, it's not enough anymore.
Everyone does that.
Right. Buyers, especially sophisticated ones, high net worth individuals, international investors, they're looking for more. They want to invest in a vision, a lifestyle, a sense of community.
So how are developers using story?
Well, one key way is by humanizing the brand through the founder's own story. People want to know who is behind this massive project, what drives them.
Especially for big investments, that trust factor is huge.
Absolutely. So we're seeing developers share their personal motivations. Maybe an architect who is frustrated with generic soulless buildings, or a parent who wanted to create a genuinely community-focused space for families like your own.
Making it personal.
Exactly. And they're weaving these narratives into their marketing, their investor materials, their social media. It makes the whole project feel more grounded, more relatable. It's not just concrete and glass. It's rooted in someone's actual experience and purpose.
That makes a lot of sense, connecting the huge scale back to a human level.
Yes. And that connects to the second point, creating a compelling lifestyle narrative. So moving beyond just listing features, pool, gym, view, and instead painting a picture. What's a day in the life actually like for someone living there?
So showing, not just telling.
Precisely. You know, that morning coffee, watching the boats in the marina, the easy walk to the park, the rooftop yoga class at sunset.
You're selling the experience, the feeling.
You are. The features become part of that larger, desirable life story. They're chapters in the narrative you're offering. And the third big piece, which ties this all together visually, is short-form video.
Instagram, TikTok.
Definitely. Developers are really leaning into this. They're hiring content teams, documenting the build process, doing short, intimate interviews with the founder, sharing stories from early residents. You see these little snippets, why I built this, or the story behind this neighborhood.
It feels much more immediate, more authentic.
It does. It transforms a luxury tower from just another construction site into the physical result of someone's vision. In a place like Dubai, with so much development, that storytelling gives you a real competitive edge.
Okay, so for listeners who are thinking, right, I get it, I need a story, but maybe feel a bit overwhelmed.
Yeah.
What are some simple, actionable first steps? How do you just start?
Great question. It doesn't have to be complicated. 3 things you can do pretty much right away. First, try writing down your mission, but in plain human language. No buzzwords, no corporate speak.
Like you're explaining it to a friend.
Exactly. Just answer. Why does your brand exist? What problem are you really trying to solve, and why do you care about it? Just get that down honestly. Step 2, make a simple video. Doesn't need fancy editing or a big budget. Just you, maybe on your phone. Talk about your journey. Where did this idea come from? What are you building right now? Why are you doing it? Be authentic.
Get something out there. Perfection isn't the goal initially.
Not at all. You can refine it later to start sharing. And the third thing, which is maybe the most important, keep it human. Don't just talk about business goals and targets. Share your values.
Yeah.
Talk honestly about challenges you've faced and overcome. Show your growth.
That vulnerability piece again.
Yes. It builds incredible trust. People connect with people with real stories, struggles and all. You don't need a perfect script. Just start telling your authentic story.
Fantastic. So just to quickly recap what we've covered today on Branding Made Simple, storytelling is absolutely crucial. It's how you connect, how you become memorable.
Right. It moves beyond just features and benefits.
And your brand story isn't just a timeline of events. It's really the heart and soul of what you do.
It's your why.
We saw how UAE brands, from tourism to real estate, are using storytelling really effectively to build trust, create community, and ultimately win in the market.
Yes, great examples there.
And the big takeaway for everyone listening, authenticity beats perfection every time. Don't wait for the perfect script. Just start sharing your real story.
Absolutely. And looking ahead to our next session on Branding Made Simple, we're going to tackle something really important. Why branding isn't just a cost, but a crucial investment. We'll explore how a smart strategy delivers real, long-term ROI, even if you don't have a massive budget to start with.
Well, thanks again for joining us on Branding Made Simple for this exploration of brand storytelling. If you found this useful, please do subscribe and maybe share it with someone else building their brand.
Spread the word.
This show is brought to you by Kaifco Media Group. They help brands in the UAE and beyond craft those powerful strategic narratives we've been talking about. Join us next time, and until then, remember, keep it simple.
Keep it powerful.